Welcome to In Deep, a podcast by Laura Enova
and myself, Flick Palmatier. Join us as we dive deep into what it takes to break the mould and have the courage to step into the unknown.
because we're all certain to get stuck in some deep shit along the way. Hey guys, just a heads up, this episode contains discussions around body image and eating disorders, which may be distressing for some listeners. Please take care of yourself and feel free to skip this episode if these topics are triggering for you. We would also like to note that the stories you are about to hear are our personal experiences from the past and are not a reflection of the brands and staff working within the industry today. Big love to you all, take care of yourself and enjoy the episode. We get pretty deep today. Welcome back, everybody.
We're on the Gold Coast and we're punching out another episode. The dogs almost,
They're trying to get out now.
Yeah, they were going to let him out and then they're going to start
They were
woofing.
sleeping. We knew that as soon as we started, my dog children would just go, okay, no. I
Quick
wanna get
intermission,
out.
Laura's going to let the dogs out.
I give the dogs like 3 minutes outside.
Oh, I give them
until
less
they
than that.
scratch
I
on the
reckon
door
2
and come
minutes
back
and we'll be hearing ch, 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 ch on the little door.
in. Dog mum life. Lol. But yes, we're in the Gold Coast studio. Flick.
Flew up here from Sydney, chasing the sun, and thank God I flew up here because every flight after my flight was cancelled. The storms were hectic. There was trees falling down. Came up here and it's been beautiful sunshine.
It has been.
I've gone for morning walks, morning swims.
And you've come up here for 3 days and we've left it till the last hour before your flight to start to do
Mate, I flew
our
up
recording.
here to bloody record this podcast, chasing Laura around. And she's like, yep, we'll do it on Saturday. Yesterday. And we stuffed around and cooked it yesterday, didn't record anything. We're like, we'll have more energy in the morning. You know, the morning kind of got away from us. We got up, we took the dogs for a walk.
You had like a 4-hour shower and had to shave your legs, even though you're wearing pants. Like, what the hell?
No,
You're like, I have to shave my legs before the podcast. I'm like, why?
It's a
no
thing,
one's saying
you know,
shit.
like when I competed, all the time when I was competing, like on the world tour or anything, before a contest, superstitious, I'd have to shave my legs. It's like a thing I have to do before I have to perform.
You're wearing pants though.
Yeah, but it's like a mental thing. Everyone, look at those silky smooth legs.
Holy dooly. No, I had a fair few superstitions as well. Like I would have to have like a juice, a smoothie and a coffee in the morning before I competed. Otherwise I was like, no, can't do it. Are they back?
That wasn't even 2 minutes.
Really? Oh gosh. Okay, we'll be back.
That's it. No more ins and out. That was like 2.5 minutes. They didn't even make 3 minutes. On your bed.
Yes, everyone sit down, relax.
We love you.
I don't know how Chloe and Elodie do this with the kids, but so these are our children.
This is not your time, boys.
Oh, how funny. But yes, anyway, glad that you had your 4-hour shower, shaved your legs, and now we're here. And
We're
now
not
we've
blaming
got
it on my 4-hour shower. We're blaming it on yesterday. Anyway, we're here, guys, and we're getting it done.
Yesterday was so sunny. We just had to seize the day. Make the day
hour
work.
before I fly out. So let's see how far we get into this episode.
Yeah,
but first, let's do a little bit of a update because it's been a little while since I've seen you. What have you been up to, Sisso?
Oh, I've honestly just been trying to recover and get the leg better. We've got the new little scar.
Look at that.
We
We're
actually
both-
should name it eventually.
We should give it a name.
Gosh, it's got some like ebbs and flows in there, like
got some
lumps and bumps and
A little bit of a dent in the side of your leg.
Should we just call it the dent?
The dent.
The dent.
The dent.
Oh, denty. But the dentist. Yeah, we're going to have to come up with a name for that. But no, I was home in Sydney and then came up to the Gold Coast and I've just been trying to start like smashing out recovery. I've been jumping in the red bed, in the cryotherapy chamber thing, freezing myself, and started physio the other day, and I've been going to the chiro and just kind of starting to get proper good, I guess, like advice and help about what to do. And so many people online have been writing in like amazing things for like scar healing and what to, massaging it and different oils and bits and bobs. So, and apparently like I want to try the oxygen chamber, the hyperbaric chamber. Apparently that's amazing for like wound healing and stuff. And but yeah, pretty much the physio the other day told me 6 weeks until I can start doing like proper weight bearing stuff. So I think it's been about 3, maybe almost 4 weeks now. So I still haven't jumped in the ocean because the cut, I got my stitches out, but it's kind of still like I'm just waiting for it to be definitely closed before I fucking get in that ocean. But I cannot wait because I I just feel like my hair and like body, like skin,
Don't you feel like you don't feel as clean?
No.
Nothing compares to like the freshness and the cleanliness of actually jumping in the ocean. Like a shower just doesn't do it.
I know, and I have been having like 3 showers a day because I'm just like I just need to be in a body of water. And but I cannot wait to just like go swimming and jump in the water and like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be the best feeling ever.
Yeah.
You went for a swim this morning, although the water was a bit like poo brown, but you're like, I gotta get in the ocean.
I just wanted to like get in. And then
what were you actually doing? A bit of exfoliating.
Oh, mate, just my forehead. It's just actually cooked. I've got makeup on it right now.
Okay, but what have you been doing?
So, what have I been doing? I flew home to Western Australia.
For your 2-week.
Yeah, it's my 2-week break. So I flew home, got back there. I was like, okay, recovery mode after New Year's Eve, like getting back on the program. I'm going to have heaps of time to hang with the family. Email comes through into the inbox. Okay, you need to fly back to Sydney. We're working in 5 days' time on this new project. And so
you're like just not meant to be home in WA.
How's
like you're allergic to it.
In the episode, the last one, you were like, oh, I'm like sad Flick's leaving me and she's going for 2 weeks. Like, but I'm secretly hoping she'll be back in 4 days. I was literally back in 4 days. And so back in 4 days. And look, as sad as it was that, you know, I didn't get to, I squeezed in a lot in those 4 days.
What did you do in 4 days?
Went down south.
You didn't build a house, did you?
Hey, I did get roped into some more manual labour though.
My gosh.
As soon as I get home, I don't know what it is. My dad just loves to be like, you're home, you're on the tools. Like he just thinks I'm his number one son.
You and your dad should go on the block.
Mate, we'd actually kill each other. We almost killed each other when we were travelling the world as him as my coach. We'd make great TV.
That is funny. That's like me and my brother on the block would be a nightmare. We'd just be screaming at each other. He'd probably throw a knife at me or something.
But so yeah, got roped into some manual labour. So my dad is a ceramicist. He has been my whole life. He just had an exhibition with these big pieces and he sold them. And then one of the buyers lived down in Margaret River. So we had to lift this like 70 kilo piece of work in and out of a car using a dolly.
The pressure.
Oh, mate, this thing's worth
cooker.
like 10 grand, like this one singular piece. And I'm just like, oh my God, don't drop it, don't drop it, don't drop it. So we did that.
Man, I need to push this earring in. It's like all the way out.
Does
it have a back on it?
Oh, I might have ripped it out before probably. Does it have a back?
No, it was just dangling out
that's
there.
all right. Okay, let's just push it in. And
beep. It was literally just like sticking out like that.
Good. No, I want to keep that one. So thanks for that.
It's like I'm just looking at you going, I can't actually
keep going until I push this in.
This earring is about to fall out. ADHD moment.
So, yep, went down there. That was a day trip down south, so an in and an out. That was about 8 hours of driving plus an unload.
And then you got the call and you're like, back to Sydney.
Yeah, got some time in with my little niece and nephew
cute.
the night before I flew out, which was so good. I love them so much. Little Poppy and little Leighton.
What a fun age too.
Yeah. And then, jumped on a plane and was bloody back in Sydney before I knew it.
But for something very exciting, which I think should lead us into a new segment we're going to do.
Yes.
What is it called again?
Bloody hell, mate. We were only discussing this segment this morning when we were having breakfast.
Oh, my brain fog has been fucking flaring at the moment. But
we're
it's going to be, no, hey, it's called, we need like a.
Drum roll, please.
It's the in deep. Hang on, I think I go. What the fuck? This is a major glitch right now. Okay, so it's the in deep.
Woo and boo of the
week. Okay, I think we nailed it.
That was it.
The in deep woo and boo of the week. So go first, Flick.
Well, mine are kind of the same. They're intertwined. So my woo is the new project, which I flew back to Sydney for, and it's super exciting. It's the best job I've had.
It's really freaking cool. I don't know how we're going to be able to not.
I'm hosting a show. It's super fun. Like
a TV show too.
Yeah, TV hosting a show. I've got some amazing co-hosts as well, and who are so experienced, who've been in the TV industry for a long time, and I've been learning so much from them.
Cool.
But yeah, we work from Monday to Thursday, and it's just been cool to be a part of like a production like that. And I'm excited to see it go to air, and it goes to air in October this year. So yeah.
So far away.
I know.
Devoed.
But it's exciting.
It'll come around really quickly.
Then that also
What is that?
I don't know.
Flick just did this smile and like teeth look like.
I don't know what's going on. But that leads me to my woo is that
No,
the show.
You boo. Come on.
Fuck. that leads me to my boo, which is that the show is filmed all around bodies of water, and which means it has to be direct sunlight basically when you're filming, and no hats and no sunnies. And I also blew it. Put my sunscreen on under my makeup, but never reapplied, obviously, because I had makeup on and I was shooting 4 days directly in the sun.
Yeah, you'd think she'd be used to this because she's an actual surfer that lives in the sun.
Yeah, but I don't surf with makeup on. That's the
usually
problem.
put zinc on, right?
Like I'm always lathering up in zinc, but my forehead, you cannot see it right now, but yesterday it completely peeled off. Like I got so burnt and torched and I actually looked like a reptile, like Laura this morning.
About to go drop her to the Currumbin Reptile Park and just hang out with a couple of the lizards. She was fully shedding skin. I was like, you know what, this is good. Start the new year with some fresh skin. She's like, fucking go hang on to D-Bar Hill. There's like all those like lizards like.
Yeah, mate, get you to the Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary.
Okay, so my woo and boo of the week.
Mate, you have to share. I think
No. My woo and poo of the week.
You woo and poo, mate. Laura shut herself yesterday.
No, we can't talk about that.
Yes, you have to. Mate, we're in deep here.
It wasn't, yeah.
Shit.
I was in deep shit yesterday, that's for sure. But, okay, so my woo of the week. Oh, you're a bitch.
No, you have to.
So, yeah, my woo of the week is that I went to physio. Well, I actually went to this amazing chiro up here, and my leg has been like kind of locked. I talked about it I was going on and on about it in the last episode. My leg was kind of locked up in this position. Wouldn't like straighten to a certain point, and then I went to the physio chiro guy, and he just like adjusted at the top of my legs and my hips, and all of a sudden my leg it was like it just unlocked and it just went bang and went straight flat again. And he reckons it was because something in my brain, like my brain was like kind of telling my leg and my hip to protect that area, so it was locked up completely. And so now like my leg goes straight and I can walk so much better. So I've ditched my fucking crutches now.
Hallelujah.
Yes, because that was going to take me to my boo of the week. So basically, like because I had to go on so many antibiotics when I cut myself in Hawaii, I think they put me on 4 or 5 antibiotics in the hospital. And so I feel like my stomach has just been kind of fucking cooked. I don't know, this is probably going to cut out. But
Nah.
Anyway, I went and saw this like amazing natural like health holistic doctor up here who was like, your whole stomach lining is fucked. We got to put you on like this sort of supplement protocol to help build up the stomach lining. Anyway, new supplements equals new feelings in the morning. And I was walking the dogs on the beach yesterday morning, and all of a sudden I was like, what the hell? What the hell? Where's toilet? Where's toilet? I'm like running around trying to find a fucking toilet. I chuck the dogs in the car and drive, and I'm like running to this toilet, and I get there and I'm like, no.
It's happening. It's happening.
It's like the front.
Yes.
But I literally made it just into the toilet, and I was like, oh my God. And
just when you thought you'd outgrown shitting yourself, it happens.
I was in some deep shit, man. Those fucking supplements, I'll tell you what. Oh, anyway, undies in the bin. Fucking
no, mate.
Terrible, terrible.
Not good.
But you know what? Such is life.
Just when you thought you outgrown it.
I guess talking health-related things
Yeah.
can lead us into what we're going to chat to about today, which is kind of an episode that we've been wanting and knowing that we'll touch on. It's going to take us pretty deep because we mentioned, I think 2 episodes ago, about these stories that we've had around body image and kind of growing up, coming of age, and just some of the things that we went through when we were younger that we wanted to elaborate on. And then, yeah, like you said, a lot of the questions coming through.
Yeah, a lot of the questions in our Q&A were centered around body image, confidence. Did you ever struggle with that? And if so, what did you do to overcome it? And like Laura just said, I guess growing up, obviously just growing up in general, just being a girl, everyone has, self-confidence issues. But I think that was even exacerbated being in the media, in a bikini, or, on a beach, and being surfers in an industry that was hypersexualized during the time that we were growing up. And that then therefore led to some pretty not nice experiences, I guess, for us. And I think part of the reason we want to do this is to share these experiences and these pivotal moments, like what was the turning point for us in the end. Like we'll share our both, probably go back through chronological order of a few stories and share those and get deep, but then also the pivotal moments in our life where we were able to reframe and turn that into, obviously we probably still struggle a little bit with it today, but we're so much better off for it, and we just want to share those things as
Absolutely.
well. I think the way to kick this off is probably for us to answer, like, when was the first time you ever questioned something about your body in whatever form that may be, or thought, oh, is that not okay? Or should I not be looking this way? Or should I be feeling a different way about my body? Or a moment where you felt uncertain.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think every woman has had that moment in their life where they've gone from being a kid into being a teenager, then all of a sudden just like looking in the mirror one day and thinking, oh, like picking themselves apart.
Or
and
someone
saying
said something to you, which made you therefore then question,
whoa,
what? Is there something wrong with me? Am I not enough?
Totally.
The way I am.
Well, do you want to go first or should I go first?
You go.
Okay. Well, we were talking about it yesterday, but I feel like growing up I was just, I was just like that classic little tomboy, just like running around at the beach. I just loved chasing around like my brother and all my friends. And, I did surfing, touch football. When I actually did gymnastics, like my hero, like the posters on my wall were all gymnastics. And, I wanted to wear what those gymnasts were wearing and be like them. And then all of a sudden I fell in love with surfing and, then it turns into the surfing posters on the wall. And, I just loved being sporty and, running around and just having so much fun. And I literally couldn't get out of boardies. I didn't think anything of my body. I just thought I was like, I was pretty annoying. I was a pretty annoying little like hyper kid, you could imagine me. But just running around at the beach and with no cares in the world, no sense of, body image until basically into my teenage years, probably like 15, 16 years old. And that was like, which I kind of feel is pretty late. Like I know,
especially now, I feel like women are maybe girls are questioning that a lot earlier, but keep going.
So, and basically it wasn't until I sort of went on the pill when I was around 16, which I went off quite quickly because it kind of affected me really, really badly. But I just, all of a sudden kind of put on this like water retention and my body started changing, which is just normal. Like you go from being like this really athletic young kid and then you hit puberty and then your body starts changing and that's just fucking normal, natural. But I remember, never even thinking anything of my body. And then I was like, so I'm doing this photo shoot. I just remember it being, having so much fun. I'm there with all of the other girls on the team. I get up to get my photo taken and I'm on the beach just doing some probably like little random pose. And then the photographer said to me, oh, hey, Laura, hey, you on your period? And I was like, oh, no. And he's like, oh, because you just look a little bit bloated. And I literally just like my heart dropped and I was like, what? I was like, oh my God. And I remember I literally like ran back to the accommodation and like looked in the mirror for the first time and turned sideways and was like, oh my God, I look bloated. And like I'd been on the pill and like my body was changing. And I just all of a sudden that moment just like spun me. Like I just became like obsessed with this whole like looking bloated thing. And it kind of sent me on a bit of a fucking spiral, that's for sure. And done that shoot, my mindset is completely shifted and I'm starting to think just differently about my body. And at the end of that year, I was having an amazing, run on the Pro Junior Series. I'd won the World Junior title. I went in to re-sign this contract with that sponsor and they just said, oh, hey, like we don't have a contract for you. And I was like, I've done everything in my head. I've done everything that you could do at that level. I was just about to go onto the qualifying tour and as an athlete. And I just won the World Junior title. I'd won the Australian Junior Series and I was thinking that I was like on the top of my game where I was, and then all of a sudden I'm not getting re-signed and I've got no sponsor. And in my head, they didn't really give me, a proper answer as to why I got dropped. But just being like an impressionable 17-year-old idiot, I just went, oh, they dropped me because I look bloated in photos. That's where my fucking head went to, which is so sad. It makes me so upset, but that's literally what I thought. And I went home and I remember just becoming like so obsessed with, oh my God, I got dropped because of that. Like that's like the only two things that I could think of that were negative were that I looked bloated in this photo shoot and then I mustn't have.
Therefore, that's why you didn't get a contract renewed. That
totally,
which is horrible.
Which is so wouldn't have been the reason, right? But as a kid, you start thinking like, oh my gosh. And so I became sort of a bit obsessed with trying to work out why I was bloated. You know, went to some health doctors who actually said, you know, you have a parasite. Let's try put you on this sort of parasite cleanse and this certain diet that was just kind of like, you know, no sugar, no dairy, no gluten, and that was meant to go for like 10 days. Anyway, I just took that fucking diet so seriously that I cut out all of that and just kind of gradually just ate less and less and less, and just became like.
You would have become tiny.
I
like
was
you're
tiny.
already a smaller build.
I'm a petite person anyway, but I just, and
trying to be an athlete and compete and surf in powerful waves on tour and push your boards around. Like you're just getting smaller and smaller.
Yeah, it was just nuts. And it got to the point where, you know, all of my friends started noticing. I'd go to sushi and I'd pick up a sushi roll and I'd just like, you know, poke the chicken out of it and not even eat the rice. Because I wasn't eating any of the starch, any of the carbs. And, you know, I'm meant to be an athlete, but I'd taken this diet so seriously because I was so like wanting to, you know, not look bloated that I just ended up having an eating disorder. And I actually somehow freaking managed to qualify that year and for the world tour. So I was doing the qualifying series, which is the contest series that you do to add, you know, accumulate points to make it onto the world tour. And that year I just remember I look back at photos and I was like so tiny, like stick and bone. And I think some of the only reasons why I even qualified was because the waves were so bad in some of those comps that they were tiny. And like I was just like, you know, I was so light, and I could surf these little waves.
Yeah.
But once at the end of the year, I'd won the World Junior title the year before, right? And I went back to World Juniors to sort of bookend the year, and I'd qualified for the World Tour, and we go to Bali for this contest. And in the contest that I'd won the year before, I couldn't even ride my boards. I couldn't even turn my boards. I literally was like, I surfed and lost in the first round, and my dad was just like, Laura, like, what are you doing? And he was watching me at night, like, just pick apart my food. And he was like, what are you doing? Like, you just qualified for the World Tour. You can't even turn your boards. Like, your boards don't work for you anymore because you're so weak and you're so small and, like, you're not looking after yourself. And it was kind of like that moment where I realized, like, wow, like, I've gone too far with this and I need help and I need to, and, like, I was lucky enough that moment was, you know, to just lose in that contest and realize that I was going to get absolutely walloped on tour if I didn't start eating again properly and look after myself. That it was kind of like a moment that I was able to reframe and reshift and go like, shit, like, yeah, what am I doing? Like, I'm about to embark on like the most exciting part of my journey on the world tour. And like, I want to be able to surf and I want to be able to use my body and be powerful and you know, that's what we're here for. Like, these bodies are meant to be powerful and strong. And like, I was just so lucky that I was able to snap out of it the way I did. But, you know, it leaves a lasting impression.
100%. That's so heavy. It's just crazy to think what a few small words that someone can say to you, just the weight that it can have behind it and how much it can affect someone for years, right? And that's why I feel like you've just got to be so careful with what you say. And I feel like we'll probably elaborate on that a bit more as well.
Totally. It's like you see the commentary that people say to each other online about people they don't know. Like, people body shame all day, body shame whether people are too big or too small. Like, and these, you know, these people in the people just want to pick apart people and fuck commenting on people's bodies. Do not do it.
I know. Well, the words carry weight and they can last for a long time.
And even like you have, you know, your story that you're about to tell from when you were young, it's like was almost like some of it was the opposite kind of commentary, like when you were not your healthiest self.
I guess
people would sort of,
I'll be like, oh my God, you look so good. I'm like, haha, I'm actually dying inside. This is the skinniest I've ever been. I only do cardio and I don't surf anymore because I'm too scared that I'm going to get big muscles. Okay, cool, bye.
Fuck.
But you look really good. You look great. I guess I've got it's similar story to you, but when I was when I was young, I absolutely loved just running around with my brothers, having a hell time, going to the beach, never thinking, oh, you're dressing feminine, you're dressing masculine, whatever. Like never even occurred to me.
Eat what we want, fucking, we're just kids, just running around.
Burn the energy, eat what we want, surf all day, come home, eat some more food.
My first sponsor was a pie sponsor on the nose. I literally grew up on like
hot upper crust?
No, it wasn't upper crust, it was pies are us. Sticker on the nose. Yeah.
Mate, that's elite.
Oh my God. And I just remember eating like fucking hot chip hangers all day. So good.
And like zero cares in the world, zero fucks given, just you. And then when I got sponsored when I was 12, and one of the first photo shoots that I'd ever done was when I was 13 or 14, and the brand that I was with at the time flew me from Western Australia to the Gold Coast. My mum actually came with me, and it was more of a lifestyle photo shoot. And so I was pretty nervous because I was like, oh, what does that mean? What does the word lifestyle mean? Like,
totally.
what is that?
Yeah,
like,
what?
I just surf. What do you mean lifestyle? And so, you know, it's more of a model geared shoot, and we've got like these bikinis for you. We're getting hair and makeup. And I was like, hair and makeup? Like what? And so, and we got our hair done. We got our makeup done. I looked myself in the mirror and I was like, whoa, like I've never seen myself look like that. Like I was like, this is so crazy. It doesn't feel like me. And I remember they were like, okay, here's the clothes that we've got for you. Do you want to try them on? They're sample size, so they should fit. And I'm thinking, sample size? What's sample size?
What the fuck's a sample?
What is a sample and what is sample size? And so I had just started going through puberty. And I am a bigger girl, and now I sit here now and I've got hips and I've got like a bum, and you know, I just never knew that that's how my body was going to go, but that's where it went, and it was the early stages of that, right? So I grabbed the clothes and I go into the bathroom and I like try to put these denim shorts on and they don't fit. And I'm thinking shit, like sample size, like that's supposed to be normal. What's, you know, back then sample size was considered like the normal size, and all brands just carried a sample size. Like anyway, so I try these shorts on, they don't fit, and I'm thinking, fuck, like I can't go out there and they don't fit like that. Like not a good look. I was like, what can I do? Like that means I'm too fat and too fat and too fat. And already I just had this idea. Obviously I'd heard it within society of, you know, that was around us that if you don't fit the sample size, like that's not good. And so I kind of just had this idea like, oh, that's not good. I remember ripping the denim pants, like, or the denim shorts. Yeah, broke them so that I was like, oh, there's something wrong with them. They won't, it's because they didn't fit me.
That's so, like, you would have been such a little baby, and then all of a sudden just going, what the fuck? I can imagine like the panic just going,
oh,
like,
yeah.
The fuck. And it's like your first proper shoot with them.
Yeah. And I was just like, shit, what do I do?
That's freaking so gnarly.
Oh, it's so gnarly. And I was like, fuck, like, anyway. So then we go and do this shoot, and I then get the images back and I see them, and I'd never seen myself like that. I was like, whoa. And then I started to get attention from boys because, you know, a couple of these photos I think I posted on Facebook. Instagram didn't exist yet. And yeah, I posted them on Facebook, and I was getting this attention from boys, and I was like, whoa, never had that before. And I was like getting attention. I got my hair and makeup done. I was like, And then from that moment onwards, moving forward with this brand, I was heavily still focused on competing. Like that's all I wanted to do, you know, from World Juniors to the World Qualifying Series to being on the World Tour. And I just wanted to do that. I didn't want to do anything else. That's all I wanted to focus on. And as the years went by, the next couple of years, I started going through puberty pretty quickly. And naturally, you have hormones running through your body's changing, things are fluctuating. There was nothing wrong with me. I look back at images of myself at this time, because what I'm about to tell you is so cooked, what I got told. I currently, look, I'm not going to say how much I weigh right now, but what I weigh right now is the same weight as what I weighed when I was 16 and 17. There's nothing fucking wrong with me right now. And if I was bigger or smaller or anything, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm strong, I'm fit, I'm an athlete, I catch big waves. Like, how awesome that I can do that as my job and have like live my passion. And anyway, wow, I'm getting so fired up because it just makes me so angry. So I, you know, was a little bit bigger than my little child body, obviously. And so team manager sat me down at the time, and the brand that I was with was sort of gearing more towards lifestyle as opposed to performance and athletes within their brand, and using a lot of that sort of marketing, right? Now, the team manager sat me down at the time and basically said, hey, like, you're getting a bit bigger, and I think like you're going to, one, surf better, but two, your contract's going to be in jeopardy if you don't lose these 5 kilos that you have put on.
No. So you're 17 years old. And
like 16, 17 being told that you need to lose 5 kilos, otherwise your contract's in jeopardy. Like you need to look like these other girls. Yeah. And I'm like.
So like my experience was in my head, but yours was actually told to you, which is just fucked. Like I cannot believe a grown man
Yeah.
would tell you, a 17-year-old girl, that you need to lose 5 kilos, you're going to get dropped.
Yeah. And
so then what does that lead? Like, how the fuck do you react? Do you remember leaving that mic? Was your parents there with you when they told you that?
No. So I don't know if we could keep this in there, but I'm pretty sure he rang my dad. Well, I'm not going to say that, but he rang my dad and told my dad. Anyway, and then so he's now told me this. This information has just like created this absolute catastrophe in my brain. Like I just am like, oh my God, like I'm too fat. I'm fat. Like I'm fat compared to all these other girls. Like I'm overweight. And it just, you know, there were also like certain family members that got on board with what he said.
No.
Like, are you kidding me? You're getting on board with what he said and you're not supporting your own daughter. There's nothing fucking wrong with me. But I guess like then they get scared.
What, like in a way of like trying to like watch what you were eating and stuff?
Yeah, like watching what I was eating and like you shouldn't be doing that. You should be going running.
So
and then
you're on like boot camp all day.
Yeah. And you're being monitored. What you put in your mouth is being monitored as a 16, 17-year-old girl. As that brand developed over the years and as I was with them during that time, the focus was more being a lifestyle model who surfed as opposed to a surfer who just does their job and performs, right? Yeah. And so I just got this idea in my head that I just needed to lose this weight and then I would still have a contract. I'd still be able to do my job a little bit.
It's like you're living in fear that you're going to get dropped because, you know, like you need to look a certain way to be on the team.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is just so brutal.
So I basically, in the next like 5 years after that, just got completely obsessed with losing weight. Completely obsessed to the point where I would be.
What do you remember like your, I was going to say, do you remember your like lowest?
Well, my lowest
like
was when everyone thought that I was at my best.
Oh, no.
This is what we were talking about, right?
Yeah.
So I then got obsessed with losing weight. Like I would run you through my morning routine. I'd wake up, I'd have a lemon water or an apple cider vinegar thing, which would absolutely make you shit yourself. So I would have that. Then I would have another coffee on top of that. Then I would go and do cardio and all I would do is run. I wouldn't even surf because I was like, I'm too scared to surf because surfing gives me these broad shoulders and I don't fit sample size if I've got broad shoulders. My thighs, sometimes they touch. I was like, I can't do squats or any weighted squats in the gym. It all has to be body weight. So all I did was run and then I'd come back and then I might go for a swim. Maybe I'd surf, but I wouldn't surf too long. And then you know what? I started losing weight. And what would happen is I would lose weight and then I'd still want to eat. So I would binge and then I would throw it up.
Oh.
Yeah. So I reckon for about,
so brutal.
I don't know how long, probably
then,
probably 5 to 7 years I was fully bulimic. Like
no
I would
way.
just, fucked up, really fucked up. And I was so obsessed with my weight management and not being bloated and not having like a pooch and just making sure that I was as tiny as possible. And you know what happened though?
It's so gnarly that at the same time we were both going through the same thing and we wouldn't have even known.
No, because we were
and
like,
even though it's like
frenemies, we weren't bloody talking to each other.
It's like so many girls in the same industry have such similar stories about, you know, just, you know, wanting to be athletes, but wanting to like, you know, having to do lifestyle shoots as well and then feeling that pressure to look a certain way in those shoots but also having to perform when you're in the water. And
well, what ended up happening is my contract kept getting upped. Yeah. I kept getting paid more money.
Getting rewarded.
So I was getting rewarded for being bulimic, for binge eating, for running, for doing cardio, for doing all these things. So then it started to feed this idea in my head that I was like, oh, this is good. Like you're getting paid more money. I was probably on the best contract that I'd ever had. I was free surfing. I was kind of like, but I was getting flown all over the world to do these shoots. Like we were on these shoots together. And I look back at photos of me at this time and I am about 12 to 15 kilos lighter than what I am now. And in my brain, I still thought that I was fat or that I wasn't where I wanted to be.
No one would have known. Like everyone would have just thought like it's always just because she eats healthy and fucking does so much working out. Like you were such a workout weapon.
Yeah, and I'd walk into the office and people were like, oh, you look so good. And I'd be like, like I have no energy. I hardly surf. I'm not big wave surfing because that's considered too masculine to you guys and that dream ain't being supported. But then like I'm being told that it's just rewarding that sort of obsessive compulsive behavior. And it was actually cooked.
that's like I'm sure the whole modelling world would be like that. There's so many stories of models going into a casting and someone just going, oh, cool, like just come back when you've lost like a few kilos.
Yeah.
So what you'd go just not eat for like 3 days and come back, and it's just so brutal. Like it's like a pathway to eating disorders and destruction and self-sabotage.
Yeah.
It's just so horrible.
Even the comment that I got, like, of telling someone, oh, you look so good, you've lost so much weight, or you're looking really good. It's like, just be careful about what you say, even if you say it in the other way of, oh, you look bloated or whatever.
I've also turned up to a contest before and someone, also an older male, has said to me, oh my gosh, you're looking so fit at the moment. You were looking a bit puffy for a while. And I was just like, I just have like these comments that just stuck in my head for years that took so long to just like, just these older males commenting on your body. Like, why do you have the right to comment on my body? Like, none of my friends would say that to me. My best friends in the world would never say that to me. And I, that same sort of quote, it's like, like we would never talk to our friends the way that we probably talk to ourselves when we looked in the mirror. And like, it's just so fucking sad. Like one of the best bits of advice I got told even just last year was, wake up every day and just look in the mirror and tell yourself, I'm fit, I'm strong, I'm healthy, I'm enough, I'm powerful. And it's like, you just need to feed this. You need to feed yourself this positivity and that energy, and because if you're looking in the mirror and going like and pulling yourself and picking yourself apart, it's like that's where your mind ends up.
Well, you become your thoughts, right? And if you're
thoughts.
just obsessing over this and only negativity and only bad things about your body, like you will become that. I think also to touch and like highlight like the time that we grew up in the industry, like when we were teenagers.
Very, very different to now.
Yeah, it is. When
Very
we were
different.
teenagers growing up in this industry, coming of age, sex sold.
Yeah.
It was hypersexualized. Women were hypersexualized. It was geared towards the lifestyle model. People were being paid more.
In all sports as well.
Yeah, exactly.
In all
Not just
industries,
surfing.
in all sports, it was happening in tennis and freaking everything.
But I think even like more so in surfing, because we're at a beach, we're really in bikinis, but 100%, like to speak to what you're saying, women in sport in general. However, like we were hypersexualized, and it was a sign of the times. Like in that era, for example, Surfer Pole Awards happens every year in Hawaii. They don't exist anymore, but it's basically like a wrap-up of the year, and it's based on a vote system, right? So people vote for their favourite surfers from number 1 to number 5. And for how many years in a row did Alana Blanchard win?
Yeah. So Carissa Moore would win the world title, or Steph Gilmore would win the world title, but for about 5 years there, from must have been about 2011 or 12 to like 2015, 16, Alana Blanchard won the Surf Pole of the Year award. And that was because she had a huge following on Instagram, and, she'd say, vote for me, and she'd get all these votes, and she had, millions of followers. And Instagram was such a weird place back then because, you'd get, in a way, rewarded as well. Like I remember posting a photo on Instagram, it would go to the Explore page, and all of a sudden I'd get like 1,000 followers overnight. And I remember looking at the stats back then when I was like 18, 19, and Instagram was just sort of popping off. Maybe it was even like when we were 20, Instagram popped off a bit more. It was like 2011, 12 it sort of started. Yeah. But basically if one of your like sort of modelling shots made it to the Explore page, you would get these random fucking followers, and 80% of my followers were males. Yeah. 20% female. Yeah. It's like, who do I want to inspire in the world? Women. Like who am I catered, like now it's like,
geared towards men,
and you would get that reward if you'd posted certain bikini shot.
And then you're getting more followers therefore within your contract. There's KPIs in contracts where, you go up 10K followers, you go up 20K followers, you're getting bonuses.
Getting more bonuses. So
what does that tell you? Oh, post more bikini shots because you're going to get more followers, therefore you're going to get more money.
Even though these followers are people that would never buy any of the bikinis because they're just kind of creepy men. Around that time, I did my naked stab shoot. I started posting more sexual photos on my Instagram, bikini shots. My followers are going up. I'm like, whoa, this is like crazy. I'm getting better contracts like you did. We're just, everything is more like, this world is just beginning to take off. You're starting to do Instagram posting and getting paid for it. And it just created this kind of cyclone of,
it's like a reward system for taking your clothes off.
But this whole, exactly. This social, and you start realizing like, oh, hey, like I can make money just doing this.
Yeah.
But I just remember, I remember the day where things just like shifted for me, and I was thinking, I'm killing it, I'm killing it, I'm killing it. Then one day I just went, this is fucked. And it was when I would always meet up with these young little girls every year. I'd come to Snapper Rocks, first comp of the year, and they all had Instagram, right? And they're all just these cute little grommets running around, not a care in the world. I followed them all on Instagram, and a year later, they're like 13, 14, and I see them all starting to post like sexy bikini shots. And I just remember looking at these photos going like, oh my God, they're 14. Like I'm 20 and I'm doing this, but like,
yeah, but
when I was 12, I was dressing like a tomboy because my heroes wore board shorts and that's how they were surfing. But now I'm their hero, we're their heroes, and now they're posting sexy bikini shots at like 13 or 14 years old because that's what they think they need to do and that's what their heroes are doing. And I remember just all of a sudden just feeling like so ashamed and so guilty and so just like, what have I done? What have we done?
Yeah.
Like, what is this like industry just become in this sense, you know, this reward for being, you know, wearing a bikini, posting a bikini, you know, you think you're sort of taking control of your life on Instagram and getting paid for it. But I just remember thinking, what have we done to this, like, to these next generation of girls who now only think that they'll get sponsored because they have to look good in a bikini?
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, but we are not, look, to some degree, obviously you become older and, you know, hindsight's the perfect science. You have that time for reflection and perspective, right? Which you're obviously having that moment there. But we were products of that environment also,
exactly.
you know,
like
which
it wasn't
is so
our
sad.
fault,
No.
but I actually lived with the guilt and the shame. And I even wrote here, it's like I did my stab shoot and like I remember being so confident in that time, like those early 20s. And like this is the time when I was on the tour and I was killing it. Then like when I started unraveling and like, you know, talking about my backstory, I feel like this had such a major part to my mental health because I all of a sudden was thinking like, what have I done? Who am I? Like, how have I lost myself so far along the way and get given into this society in this world where, you know, I don't even know who I am anymore. And I'm taking my clothes off and I'm, you know, I used to be a fucking like, where did that little girl go? Like, who am I? And I just felt like I was so, you know, I was so not being my authentic self. And but it was just a sign of the time, you know?
Yeah, I think also just to circle back on that story of Surfer Pole, like I just want to say, obviously Alana's not responsible for the people voting for her and she's not responsible for that. She's a product of that too. She's our generation, right? But it's just so.
And you were saying before as well, like the, you know, the smaller bikinis. They've been globally worn by Brazilians,
Hawaiians, like they'd been around for a long time. It's just, you know, they started to weave their way into the surf industry and all of a sudden, like just to echo on that point that you were saying before, we're both, you know, we started getting paid more money, like the skimpier bikinis, the more lifestyle shoots you're going on, the more that you were spending time modeling as opposed to actually performing as an athlete, the bigger the contracts we're getting. And so what like the signals that sends to yourself and myself is that like, oh, cool. All right. Well, let's stop being so much athlete and let's start gearing that way. And then for so long, I lost myself. Like I lost myself to what I actually love doing. Like, you know, and I touched on it before, but I literally got told, hey, like we haven't seen you charge big waves. Like we're not going to support that endeavor because, you know, that's not really where we saw the vision for you with the company. Like, basically, you're a model, you're a lifestyle model, you're not a big wave surfer. We don't support that. And I'm like, hang on, you supported me for being a sponsored athlete in the first place. Like, why can't I just do what I absolutely love to do?
I think I also wanted to say before was that I look at the best female surfers that are like 16, 17, 18 now, you know, the ones that have just qualified on the tour, they're going to be the next big things. They got all the top contracts. Like, I just am so glad that they will never have to do like a naked stab shoot.
Well, how far has women's sport come?
Yeah,
and we're prioritizing performance and being an athlete as opposed to the way you look.
Exactly.
I guess that sort of leads us to, I guess, the back half, right, or the back bit of this episode. And I kind of we both wanted to touch on points or when was the penny drop moment or the turning point where you were able to flip this around, because obviously everyone still to some degree struggles, but I feel like I'm confident to say we're both on the other side of that.
Absolutely, yeah.
So do you have any penny drop moments or like turning points?
Yeah, well, I think a couple. Obviously, when I was younger, that penny drop moment was when I realised, hey, you're actually going to get walloped on tour. You've just made it to the world tour and you're going to get completely fucking going to lose every heat because you're not eating. You need to be a fucking athlete. You've made it this far in your life and career because you're an athlete. Don't fucking ruin it all now because you don't want to eat, because you just like don't want to fucking look bloated or whatever that dumb thing was. And I had to go and get like proper help about that as well, and talk to psychologists and talk through that. But you know, I just realized that my body was here for a reason, which was to be a strong, powerful athlete, and you know, so I could surf these waves. I still struggled on and off with my body, and it wasn't until I was 25 where I did leave the tour and get out of that sort of loop and realize that I just really wanted to be like, I just felt like, we'd mentioned it before, I felt like I'd lost myself so much, and I was being this version of myself that I couldn't even relate to or identify, and it just, I felt ashamed and guilty for kind of what had happened in the industry, and I just wanted to fucking change and be the best version of myself. And to me now, like, just appreciating and respecting and wanting to be the healthiest version of myself is like the most important thing in my life. It's like, you know, and surrounding yourself with good people that also believe that, you know, pick you up and will never comment on your body, or like, you know, just, I don't know. And it's just like taking away that comparison and just really knowing that beauty fucking comes from the inside. Because honestly, when you're not eating, you're fucking moody, you're grumpy, and you're not glowing. And it's like the happiest people and the most beautiful people are the happiest people. And it's like, you know, like how much better does it feel to wake up and eat beautiful food and nurture your body and try to like live and just respect this vessel that we've been given, and just try to love it and love it every day, and wake up and go, I'm unique, I'm beautiful, and this is me. And yeah, I think it's just, you just have to just tell yourself you just have to love yourself. Fuck, it's just, you have to love and respect yourself inside and out.
Yeah, I think for me, very similar, right? But, and you touched on it, you want to surround yourself with people that are actually uplifting. For me, that was a really big thing. I had certain women in my life, like family members or close friends, that I just started to spend more time with, that actually fed me positive things, not negative. And, you know, the biggest turning point for me though was actually leaving that brand, or actually the floor we've spoken about it before, the floor got ripped out from underneath me. And you know what, looking back now, obviously it was hard when it happened, but maybe that was one of the best things that could have happened for me, because I was in a downward spiral of, obviously I had an fucking eating disorder, and I was obsessed with my weight, and losing that brand and not having those ideas always perpetuated towards me, hanging out with very healthy role models, and then those people also encouraging me to exercise, not because to look a certain way, but to feel a certain way. And I happily say now, like, it's been a long time and a big journey to get to this point, but I love working out. I love it. I love the way it makes me feel. I love the endorphins. I love all different types of exercise.
Absolutely.
I always have it. Like, it takes me back to when I was a kid, just playing, having fun. Like, I love trying new things. It brings me together with people. It's bringing new relationships.
And then also like the eating side of it as well. Like, we both like went through times we'd be on shoots and just like, I remember all of us girls would sit there and just like try to like,
I'll have a salad.
Or like just eat
not
like
eating carbs,
one bit of fruit, or like just or like protein bars, or like just whatever to get through the shoot, to try to, you know, look as fit as we could in these photos. But it's like being able to, you know, go out and enjoy food and know that like your body's able to process it, and you're gonna, you know, you can just go.
You can't have that piece of bread, doll.
Yeah,
you can eat the bread.
Travel the world and try the beautiful food and eat it,
eat the pasta when you're in Italy.
Have that 80-20 rule. 80% healthy, 20% fucking whatever you want. Macca's burgers, fucking chocolate cake, anything. Your body is going to be able to digest it. And then also being
biggest joys
healthy,
in life.
fit athlete is fucking also great. I love it.
That too, like, so the other reason for me, or a pivotal moment, was when I really started to pivot into big waves, was the moment when I realized that this body that I have, which is so weak, which isn't strong, I'm like losing my strong, broad shoulders, which are responsible for paddling me into these waves. Like, that's when I realized, I was like, hang on a second, I can't even do what I'm super passionate about, because I've withered away to the point of being so tiny that I can't paddle onto these waves, that I'm not strong enough to do that. Like, I the shoulders that I hated so much are the things that paddle me into these big, beautiful waves that I love.
I know.
My
Isn't
legs
it crazy?
my legs that are strong and powerful are the reason that I stick on my board when I glide down the face of a
Totally.
20-foot waves. The very things that I used to hate about my body, I now love because they're the things that provide me the most joy. Like surfing is the biggest joy provider in our lives. And I'm like, without having the strong shoulders, the legs, I wouldn't be able to do that.
Totally. I know. And isn't it just so amazing? Like nothing better than, you know, looking at our shoulders now and being like, these are paddling us into the biggest, best waves in the world. But I remember as well, you know, one of the turning points for me was also meeting Jake and having a partner in my life that helped me respect myself more. I remember one day we were at the beach and I was wearing a bikini with him and I said something like jokey, like, oh, how does it feel to date like a girl with a 10-year-old boy body or something? Like I literally said something kind of just degrading my body, saying that like, you know, I've got no hips and, you know, I've got these big muscly shoulders and, you know, like that was like what I just joked about. And he looked at me and was like, don't you ever say that about yourself again. He's like, that was the meanest thing I've ever heard. Like, why would you ever say that? He's like, stop that. It actually makes me want to cry. Like, and I literally just made this joke. I was like, oh, you're dating a 10-year-old boy. And he was just like, fuck, like why? Like, no, why would you say that?
What a good boy. He's so good.
And that was because I thought, you know, it's like for a while I ended up thinking that my body was not feminine because I was, you know, petite and, you know, didn't have these curves and didn't have these hips. And it's like, you know, you just go through these stages of always like wanting what someone else has. And it's like no one would ever know that. And you just, it's such a trap. It's such a fucking trap. And I feel like that was like when I was 25 and we'd first started dating and he would never, you know, he'd always compliment me saying like, oh my God, you're so smart, you're so funny, you're so creative, you're so cool. Like,
aren't they the best compliments to give out?
The best compliments in the world, instead of being like, oh
you
my
look
God, you're
so
hot,
yeah.
you're sexy. That's like, I love that. That looks so good on you. Like, you know, he'd still say that.
Those
about,
are nice,
like,
but
know,
let's compliment about something else first,
know,
other than someone's weight or like their
exactly.
physical body.
You know, I remember one day I was like, oh, Jake, can you come take this photo of me? I just got to take a shot of this car. And he's like, oh, cool. Like, what do you want to shoot? And I was like, oh, I'll just wear my bikini and I'll just walk towards the beach and just take like a butt shot of me in the car. And he was like, you don't have to do that. And I was like, oh, no, I know it's just going to do well on Instagram and the car sponsor will be happy because we'll get lots of likes. And he was like, you can't. Like, he's like, I love you, but I just need you to know that you need to, like, you can wear clothes and people are still going to fucking like and respect you. And I remember going like, oh. So he's like, let's put a cool outfit on and take a photo of the car. And I was like, yeah, let's put some clothes on, take a photo of the car. And then I remember I had like dyed my hair blue. I need to find the photo and like I'd taken a photo with this car and like in this like cool blue tracksuit. Lo and behold, people loved it. Great shot. And he was like,
they love you for you.
Yeah, he's like, you don't need to do that anymore.
Yeah.
And I was like, and that was around the same time, like 24, 25, which is, you know, almost 10 years ago now. And, you know, it's just, he was someone that really helped me just break that cycle of, and just really come back to finding myself. And like, that's the thing, when we started surfing big waves, it was almost like we obviously fucking both felt like we'd lost ourselves so heavily in those from, you know, 17 to 24 that we were both like,
I think it just allowed us to show up as our authentic selves again. And that's why I fully fell in love with it. And I was like, nah, this is me because I can just be me, show up, be strong, be soft, be everything. And I don't give a fuck.
Exactly.
One of the biggest things and the lessons, it's actually a quote that I live by too, is over the years I've learned to adopt is don't trade your authenticity for approval.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a big one. And just find what you're passionate about and keep doing that. Who gives a...
Perfectionism is a trap.
Yes.
It's horrible. You know, imagine like when you think back at all the editing apps that people were using on Instagram for so many years, like in those times, it's like, you know, people would have like warped horizons just so they could look skinnier in a photo and like.
Yeah, but then you know, how sad is that to think about how.
But then they'll still getting more and more likes and people like writing on it like, you look amazing, like you look amazing, like.
Feeding insecurities and obsessions and what a weird world. But I mean, I'm just, to echo that other point, just so glad that our industry and like the industry of women in sport is like changing and.
It's shifted into like the most body positive, like, we celebrate every body type, every person. Everyone belongs here. Everyone is enough.
Yeah.
No one is better than anyone because they look a certain way.
No.
It's like, it's just, I love just the inclusivity that is in sport and women in sport now, and that everyone can be supported no matter what they look like. That's
Beautiful.
the most important thing. Hey?
Yeah, it's so good. It makes me so happy to look on this generation now. I know we made it through it.
We made it through it. And that's the thing. It's hard to talk about this shit because it's like, you know, like I said before, I almost felt like the girls of today, the generation probably look at, you know, some of the photos and things that we did back then and go, can't believe they did that.
Like, apply the values of back then and apply them to today. It does not work like that. I'm sorry, but that was a sign of our times, and that was the values that were, you know, portrayed in that time, in that era, and we were just a victim of it.
Yeah.
And we've come out the other side and sharing our stories now, hoping, because you know what? It's not just women in sport. It's every girl, every guy going through puberty.
You know, in this world of social media and comparison, and like we were touching on before, it's, you know, you need to, we're only sharing our stories because we want people to, if they are feeling any of these things, to get out of the trap. Stop it. Like, don't give in. Don't give in. You know, you got to eventually. Or that you will
get through the other side because, like, we're living proof of it. Like, you will get through. There's certain things we implemented that, you know, were pivotal for us to make it through to the other side. Or you're not alone because other people do struggle with this.
Totally.
Everyone struggles with it.
Yeah, and like even I guess with you with I guess like coming out of an eating disorder, like what were did you have to go get help, or did you have to like speak to psychologists and stuff?
There were definitely times when I went and saw a therapist when I was living in Sydney actually, and then when I came up when I was on the Gold Coast right towards the end a little bit. Sporadically throughout, but it wasn't until I was back home in Western Australia, actually during COVID, when I lost that brand deal, and then also I started seeing a therapist then, because there was so many things going on in my life, from having the rug ripped out underneath me to losing a sponsorship to having an eating disorder to COVID to, you know, my mum passing away to my dad being, there was just so much. And it got to the point where I was like, I need to speak to someone who is neutral, who is going to give me actual tools to be able to help myself through this situation, because I could not see the light at the end of the tunnel myself. So I had to get professional help. And I still do every now and then. It's not like something that I just turn off and, cool thing I did like 2 years ago, 5 years ago now. Every now and then when things get a bit like it's a lot, I will go and speak to someone. Like, friends are great and I download all the time to them. But I think sometimes nothing compares to having that neutral ground and just someone who has so much experience and knowledge and tangible tools to give you.
Yeah, I guess you probably have to go get your flight soon, because we've been talking
Guys,
for
I keep looking at my phone. I'm like,
we've been talking
it's
for
11:06 and my flight takes off at 11:50. Yeah, it takes off at 11:55. Bro, we've got to go.
We got to go. Sorry, guys. That was a fucking deep chat, and we're just literally going to fucking flick to the airport now. And
back to Sydney.
Back to Sydney.
Cool.
Until next time. Sayonara.
Bye.
Love you. Hello, guys. It's me again. If you made it this far, thanks for listening. Absolutely love yous. Flick and I were talking and we thought it'd be, you know, really cool. I mean, body image is such a personal and powerful topic, and we'd like to keep chatting about, you know, so many different areas around this topic. And so I thought it'd be cool if anyone out there is willing or wanting to write in and share their experiences and their stories, their struggles, their triumphs, or any of the insights around, you know, body image and body positivity and, you know, just this topic. It's so important, and yeah, just so we can inspire and connect with so many other people in our community, and just share how they have been able to overcome any of their struggles. So sending love to everyone, and thanks for listening. If you made it this far, we really appreciate all the love, and just want to keep growing this community and making it a positive, safe space for everyone to chat freely. Shut up, Laura. Time to fucking shut the gob. Goodbye.